Ranking NFL logos, let's get into it. Starting with the Arizona Cardinals, we've already got them listed at C. Look, they just don't excite me. The colors, they're okay, red and black, but mostly just red. It's a bird. Give me something exciting, give me something super detailed. It just feels lackluster. Atlanta Falcons, it's a pretty solid logo. I'd say it's about average. I like the color scheme, black and red. It feels like it fits the city. Once again, I do think you could do a little bit more with the bird, but you kind of make this nice F, which is cool. Almost makes me want to put it in A tier. I'm going to leave it in B tier. Carolina Panthers, they are definitely an A tier team. That's a cool logo. Nobody can deny it. It feels like Charlotte. You got the, panther with the mouth open. It's pretty cool. Chicago Bears, once again, I like this logo a lot. Cool color scheme, very detailed. Now, I know the Bears do have a couple different primary logos, and I know it's kind of oxymoronic. You can't have multiple primary things, but you get the point. They've got a few different ones, but I like this one quite a bit. Dallas Cowboys, look, I'm conflicted because just the star, it doesn't really signify Dallas. If I just saw a star, I'd probably think Los Angeles. Once again, it doesn't feel right, but it is iconic. So then do we put it in S tier because of how iconic it is? For an iconic logo, I'll give it B tier. I just don't like it, but it is iconic, so we got to give it some credit. Detroit Lions, I'm going to go C tier. Not to be a Debbie Downer, but it's blue with a white outline. Kind of similar to this Cardinals. Not a ton of detail. Now, I'm not totally sure what you could do better than this, but maybe incorporate a little bit more like the Bears did. Maybe, make it like an F for the Falcons like the Falcons did. I'm not totally sure. Green Bay Packers, we're also going to go B tier. Now, fun fact for a lot of you, the G does not stand for Green Bay. It stands for great. So that's a little corny fact. Overall, though, maybe work in. I think it'd be cool with how tight-knit and small that Green Bay stadium community is, to maybe tie in something that encapsulates that, just with how unique it is. Maybe have that skyline, but it's not really a skyline. It just looks like your local community park. I think that'd be pretty dope. Los Angeles, I'm going to go A tier. Look, the jerseys are horrific, and we're about to discuss the jerseys in a minute, but the jerseys suck. This does look cool. You got the wave, you got LA. It makes sense. It fits. Kind of feels, some logos, they don't feel like they fit the city. This feels like it fits. The color scheme looks very modern. It makes sense. Minnesota, this is also we're actually going to go S tier. It's between an A and an S tier. Love the design. We get the color schemes. It's about as cool as you could make a Viking look. Skull feels like Minnesota as well. New Orleans Saints, I'm going to go B tier. Color scheme a little meh. Maybe working a little bit more white or black. Either color is fine with me. Feels like it represents New Orleans, though, obviously, with the logo. New York Giants, look, this is just lame. Flat out, this is just lame. NY, that's it. I mean, come on. Philadelphia Eagles, clear S tier. This looks nice. This looks nice. San Francisco 49ers gives me that Gold Rush vibe. I'm going to go A tier. Feels like something you could just stick on a polo and it just makes sense. Even if you don't have the centering red, it's just like, oh, that looks official. That looks like San Francisco. I get that vibe. Seahawks, another S tier. Look, it's just iconic. There's nothing else to say about it. It's a modern icon. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're going to go A tier. The flag, awesome. Color scheme, awesome. The skull, just makes sense. It makes sense all around. Now, the one thing I will say is It doesn't quite feel like modern Tampa. Modern Tampa has got a different feel to it, but I still like it. Commanders, clear D tier. I mean, what is this? We're going to do two teams right now, Ravens and Bills. Look, I like the Ravens. We got a lot of different colors involved here. The Bills just feels right. It just feels right. You don't want to overdo it. I know I had mentioned you don't want to overdo it with the Lions, or you do want to do more with the Lions and the Cardinals, but look, these are nice. These are nice logos. Bengals is an average logo for sure. Now I do like the uniforms a lot, which, as I mentioned, I'm going to get into in a minute. It's cool stripes for sure. Browns logo. This is just lazy. I mean, and it doesn't really signify anything. I mean, maybe just Cleveland depression, but what is this? Ideally, you can kind of tell to some degree either the city or the team name. These are the Bears. These are the Panthers. Unless you're stupid, you know what all these are. Probably you could figure out this is a Bengal. This one would be tough, obviously. But for the most part, you can kind of tell what they are. Other than, unironically, the three lowest I have, they're unoriginal, and you don't even know what does a W stand for? Winning, New York City. I guess I get that point, but Broncos is another S tier. Broncos is clean. The blue, the orange, mile high, makes sense. Houston Texans, I am going to go B tier. It feels very average. Nothing bad about it. I like that it's more than one color. You could definitely see them just doing it in a red Texan. This is better than that, but not by much. Indianapolis Colts, clear D tier. I mean, nothing's going on here. It's a horseshoe, but it doesn't get me excited. Jacksonville Jaguars, the detail is phenomenal. The green tongue, Jaguar opening its mouth. I mean, it's a cool. Even all those years where the Jags sucked, I always saw the logo and was like, that's pretty nice. Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, the logo is becoming iconic to some degree with the Cowboys and the Packers, but I mean, I don't know. I just don't feel much with it. Raiders feels pretty average to me once again. Now, with the color scheme they have at their disposal, there's not much you can do. You can't sprinkle in any colors. I feel like you could have done something else other than this. I don't know what specifically, but I feel like you could have done something else. Los Angeles Chargers, it's a lightning bolt. Their old logo looks a little bit cooler. This just doesn't give me much of a feeling. Miami Dolphins, this is an A or an S tier. I've got a lot in the S tier, so I'm going to leave them here. Feels like Miami. You can see it's a dolphin. You can kind of tell it's Miami because of the colors as well as the sun. A lot of people see sun. Oh, was that Miami? Is that LA? Is that San Diego? So I think it's dope. Patriots, I'm going to put them in the Cowboys, Packers, and Patriots tier of icons that, the 49ers are an icon, but I like them a little bit more than these three, as well as the Chiefs, who are becoming an icon. Jets, I mean, yeah, I see the Jet, but come on. Steelers is iconic. I'm going to put them in the same camp as the Niners. They're cool. Maybe a little bit too much color for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's kind of a doom and gloom, rainy city. So maybe a little bit too much color there, but to some degree also because you've got these base colors, it also feels not that colorful, if that makes sense. And then the Tennessee Titans, pretty average. I'm going to go B tier.